Today, we want to really make clear for you that your manifestation is already on its way. You're doing the work, you're doing the meditations, you're doing the visualization, and you're looking around and you don't see anything is happening. But we are here to tell you that it is already being orchestrated by the universe, by the divine in the background, and you don't even see it. About 5 years ago, Petra and me were driving with Petra's car, an old Ford Mondeo, to Switzerland.
My father's car.
Yeah, that's about 1,000 kilometers drive. And it was all going perfectly smooth and fine. The car was great. But when we were in Switzerland, it all of a sudden broke down. We brought the car to a mechanic and we asked them what's going on with it. They were checking it and they said, well, we would have to repair it and it would cost over 4,000 to 5,000 euros.
Or we would have to buy a new motor. Like, it was such a damage that they were not able to repair the car.
So the only option was, do we want to recycle it with them directly, or do we want to take care of the recycling of the car by ourselves?
But because my father has a really different trust in anything, he said, I want the car back and I'll send somebody who will drag it here, you know, the cars where you put the non-functional car and they will just bring it to the country. The man who was supposed to bring the car, he was still excusing himself. He didn't have time, you know, he was lazy to come. Borders were closed and opened and closed because it was during COVID time. And our time in Switzerland was going to end and we didn't have anywhere to go. We didn't have a place where we can store our stuff, which we were having as living people in Switzerland. And then we had to meditate. We had no other option than to create a solution in 5D.
Because it was a really uncomfortable situation. It was not my car, so I can't decide over it myself. And we have the responsibility to bring the car back to Petra's father. And we wanted to do that, but there was just no way in this 3D reality that we could do that.
So we are in Switzerland with broken car. We have to leave our apartment in 2 weeks. We have to leave absolutely with all our stuff, all our belongings, clothes, everything from kitchen, everything. We had to put it in my car, which was not working. So I was like, okay, so let's make it ready, because we were still manifesting and it didn't happen. It wasn't happening. There were no signs at all.
And after meditating for some time, there was all of a sudden this really awkward coincidence. The place where we had our broken car parked was empty. It was a big parking spot and nobody was there. Then a police crew came and they had like 3 police cars and about 15 police officers that just decided to make a special control for other cars on that parking spot. So they asked me to please repark the car, and I told them, well, it's not possible, the car is not working. And they were like, okay, so maybe if you just get in there and we can help you push it aside. And I was just going there, I wasn't thinking anything about it. Went into the car, 4 police officers were pushing it away from the place where it was parked, and Petra was observing the whole thing from the balcony.
Because you are not allowed as a Swiss citizen to drive EU car in Switzerland, and police is the institution which is controlling this. So it was funny that 4 police officers were pushing the car with Raphael inside, and they were agreeing that he's gonna drive the car with 4 police officers. It was a very weird signal from universe, or a sign from universe, but it was also very funny. And I'm like, oh, something is changing, energy is changing, because this is weird.
And you also just started to accept that you saw this and you said, this is really weird. This would usually never happen. Universe is doing something in the background which we don't fully understand yet, but something is happening. And you know, while we were meditating and we were also just trying to solve that situation matter to matter in the 3-dimensional reality by calling and trying to predict when the person will come to pick up the car.
Or trying to ask another people who can repair the car.
Yes, we were just living our life as well. And one day we met my cousin, we went together to the rock climbing gym. And we were having a chat about it, and he's a mechanic for big machines for
diesel motors.
With diesel motors for construction sites. We just told him, yeah, our car is not working. He said he could have a look at it. And I was like, yeah, it's all right. You know, you don't have to check it, because we already were at the mechanic and he said he can't do anything anymore. But because we were already there, he just opened the hood and he looked at it and he said, oh, okay, this piece of the motor is broken, and maybe if he could replace it, it could work again. He started to look online how much this piece costs, and it was a couple of hundred Swiss francs, and we were still not sure should we do it, because it comes also with a great risk that it still wouldn't work. So we kind of put that on the side, and we didn't really think about it anymore.
I was thinking about it a lot, and I wanted the cousin to come and fix the car, because we would pay thousands of dollars or Swiss francs, and we would also have to either damage the car, leave it for recycling or whatever. We would just not have the car. Then Raphael wanted to postpone it, and I wanted to have it done. It was within 1 week.
Petra was so persistent, I decided to contact him once more, and he came by. I got into his car to drive to our car, and he said, "Oh, you might be just sitting on your solution right now." I was like, "What? There's nothing underneath me." And I checked, and there was just this really very thin, small piece of metal.
Like a razor blade.
Just a piece of metal. And then we went to the car, he opened the hood, and he installed that piece of metal in there, turned on the car, and it was working. I had goosebumps. I was like, this is not possible. After all these weeks, after all this trying, everybody said it's not possible. The professional said it's not possible. And he puts there this little piece of metal, and it works. And he explained to me that he had this insight all of a sudden that he could somehow interfere with that part of the motor, that he could just stop it and it might work then. He went to his company's warehouse. He told the guy working there that he needs this piece about this size for this specific car, and the guy was checking in his warehouse if he has something. He says, "Well, you're in luck. I just have that one piece that would just fit your description perfectly." And my cousin was asking, "Okay, how much does it cost?" And he says, "You know what? Nothing. It's all right. Just a piece of metal." So he installed it, we turned on the car, and it was working again. And this just proves how much work was happening in the background. Things that we couldn't anticipate, things that we couldn't plan and couldn't understand. Universe was orchestrating it for us in the background. We did the work, and we tried, we thought it will happen instantaneously, but we didn't allow the universe to process it, to reorganize reality so it fits perfectly for you. And we really want you to start trusting in your work, that when you're meditating, when you're manifesting, sometimes it's even enough if you're just writing something down and completely forget about it. It is already happening.
So if you look at our story, we had there a lot of weird synchronicities. Weird it is because mind can't grasp it. The cousin could repair it already with the functioning piece of motor, which was supposed to probably work, but we didn't have the certainty 100% that it would be actually working. So the universe had to step in. That's why Raphael had to resist a little bit longer, and I had to convince Raphael to once more try to ask the cousin if he could try to fix it. And that's why it was all timed perfectly, when the thought could appear in his head actually, and it could happen that it was actually becoming in 3D, in reality, in our reality, which we really needed. Now it sounds very exciting, it sounds like a good story, but when you are in the fire, in the river of change, you don't think that these are the signs. You don't think that these are the story. We are not people who were 100% totally trusting to the universe, because part of us is still asking us, are you a fool or not? Do you think you're certain about these things? But we had no other option. Nobody could help us. Nobody could do anything for us. Everybody was scared of COVID. Nobody wanted to really talk to us, and we had to solve our situation. We had to pack our stuff into that little car, and we had to then travel to my country. It was 1,000 kilometers. It was like 12 hours drive. It was starting to snow, and we were praying for every kilometer, every hundreds of kilometers, every time we were just like going with the car, because nobody promised us that it will work for 10 minutes or 20, or 10 hours or until today, after so many years later, the car is still working.
Incredible, and it hasn't really had any new updates since then, the car. It's still functioning.
It is functioning. Nobody's really driving it, but it's functioning.
Yes, we're driving a different car now, but it still exists, the car. So it's really impressive how things are happening in the background when you don't even see it. And this is really the message for today. You know, I was, for example, also writing down that I want to be a really exceptional chef. It was something that I never meditated about and never visualized or manifested it. I just wrote it down once because it was something that I wanted. And I used to be a person that totally hates to cook. The food was always tasting horrible, and I didn't have any interest in learning it. But there was just at some moment some switch that happened, that the guy that was renting us the Airbnb was a chef, and I had an opportunity to go to a cooking class with him. He taught me some things, and I started to open up for this possibility that I could maybe also cook. And then I was drawn to Gordon Ramsay, and I looked at this book, and I started to speak to this person. And this is what's happening, you know, that's what's going on in the background. You don't even really realize it or see it, but this is the creation from the universe.
It's also about you stepping into your future. We were only visualizing how we are crossing the border, how we are arriving into my country, into my home in here, actually, where we sit now. And we didn't know that it's going to be the key for us to visualize. And now I would also give advice to my past me that I should just relax and chill and trust a little bit more and not be that contracted all the time and stressing and worrying, as you probably also do when you want to solve something, because it's always there for you. We are tuning into the quantum field where all possibilities exist simultaneously, and you always can choose your possibility and connect to that possibility, and it will work out in a way you've never expected to work out. But you would be grateful, like we were very grateful that we could have got home that day.
And what if you just started to truly believe that when you're meditating, when you're manifesting, when you're visualizing, that it is actually working, that the universe is conspiring for you. It doesn't hurt you to just believe that it actually works, and it really does. Every time we connect to this energy, every time we connect with our future, it is starting to materialize itself. It might take a bit longer. We can try to shorten the time it takes by just manifesting more, tuning into it more, staying connected to that energy more, but it is happening nonetheless. I have heard from so many people that they were once writing down in their journal that they want to live in this kind of house and have this kind of relationship and have these many children. And then they look at it 20 years later, 30 years later, and they're like, oh my gosh, I'm living that reality. I didn't even think about it anymore. But it really works this way, and we really want you to know this and remember this. Even if you don't feel like it's happening right now, even if you don't see the synchronicities, just trust and decide it is working, it is happening.
I think it's on us to still repeat to us and remember that we can actually do these things, because all those logical things which we are showered with every day from Instagram and Facebook and news and so on, we are made to believe, convinced to believe that we actually can't do these things, that we are so tiny, small, and we are not powerful at all, and maybe we should start to believe to something else.
And if we didn't have to continuously remind ourselves about this, if it's just something that you learn once and then you know it, like you watch this video and you know it forever, then we wouldn't have to make this YouTube channel, because you could just read any book and for the rest of your life it would be in your brain and you would remember it. But the thing is, we keep forgetting these things. That's why we're creating these videos. That's why Petra and me have these discussions together. We're sharing these realizations with each other because they click for the other person as well, and it's helpful in our journeys to step into our future. That's exactly why we make these videos for you. Would you share one of your manifestation stories with us so we can inspire and we can all learn how the universe really works, how all these things are really happening when we don't even realize it? And Petra and me, we were trying to make our own lemonade, a pine needle lemonade. So we will open it now. I've been fermenting it for about 10 days and let's see how it goes. This side.
Mm-hmm.
All right. It's coming.
Is it?
It's sizzling. Doesn't look that bubbly. Is it good?
Mm,
Nah.
nah,
I
didn't
think
work. Give it to me.
maybe more sugar. Great. Poured
Great.
it on me. Maybe more sugar.
It's actually smelling like it's already
A bit old.
It's a bit old, yeah.
Maybe
but
it
it's
was too long.
sizzling.
Slightly. But I've seen very different on social media. Anyways,
Anyways,
if you want to share some more time with us, then we highly recommend you this video here about manifestation.